Good morning, everybody. Matt Modi here with OddsJam, wishing you a Merry Christmas and also wishing you a happy betting day. And for me, I'm excited about the NFL, excited about the NBA, and this video specifically will be giving you NBA picks for today. NFL picks will be coming out in another video. This video, I'm giving you some NBA player props for today. Christmas Day, we got an awesome slate of games. Let's get right into it. Don't want to dilly-dally. The first play that we're going to go ahead and lock in here is Dennis Schroeder under 3.5 assists. So this bet, obviously, I found using the OddsJam positive EV page. And let's chat about it. So OddsJam prices the no vig odds for this bet, the OddsJam perfect line, to be exactly plus 126.5. So the numbers and everything, the math behind it is the most important thing to understand. So I definitely don't want to just glance over that. So these no vig odds here, the OddsJam perfect line, pulled from the sharpest sportsbooks in the world, the sportsbooks that consistently, historically, over the course of time, excuse me, do the best job at pricing odds. So OddsJam back-tested thousands of betting opportunities to determine what sportsbooks are the sharpest, and then uses that data to remove the vig from those sportsbooks, and basically sets the market moving forward, with the end-all logic being these X amount of sportsbooks historically do the best job at pricing odds. We're going to find out which ones those are, and then we're going to use them to set the market moving forward, and then provide betting opportunities where we are getting more favorable odds on another book. So the sharpest sportsbooks in the world think that this should be priced closer to plus 126.5. Well, FanDuel is offering it to us at looks like plus 130, which is still positive EV. So it's not plus 132 anymore. It's plus 130. It's still really good. So the gap, in this case, 3.5 cent gap between the no vig odds and the odds on FanDuel at plus 130 is your profitability. And then what you want to do, because you could just, like, any play that shows up on the positive EV page is going to be positive expected value. You'll know the bet that you're supposed to be placing because it's bolded and it's got the outline, the blue outline around it. This is basically saying, hey, bet me, sports bettor, pick me. It's this one right here. But any bet that shows up here is going to be mathematically profitable. What you want to do, the additional work that you want to do, if you click open a play, where, like, you see if I hover my mouse over here, it shades it blue. If you just click your mouse, literally just click your mouse, it pulls up what you see here, and this is where every other sportsbook prices this play. So what we're trying to do here is determine, is the bet that we are placing an outlier to the rest of the betting market or not? In this case, the answer is yes. You can ignore Prize Picks because they are a DFS company, so they have the same implied odds for everything. But look at where every other book prices it. Odds ranging from plus 105 to plus 100. We're getting it at plus 130, 25 cents higher. That is a remarkable outlier. That is what you look for every time you place a bet. You're looking for an outlier such as this, where you compare the odds of the bet you are placing to the odds of the rest of the sports books. And as we can see here, the no vig odds price this at, the average odds price this at minus 100. Granted, part of that has to do with the Prize Picks one, so it's a little bit above minus 100, but still significantly below the plus 130. So this is a really good bet. Dennis Schroeder under 3.5 assists in the Lakers versus Mavericks game. Next up, the play that we are looking for is DeAndre Ayton under 9.5 rebounds. This is at plus 114 at BetRivers in the Suns versus Nuggets game. So the OddsJam perfect line prices this at about plus 110. Plus 110. Essentially, we're getting it at plus 114. And then look at the other sports books. So Pinnacle, which is the sharpest sports book in the world, actually favors this bet going under. Pinnacle has it as the likely scenario that he goes under. And I know this because look at the two sides of the Pinnacle line, right? Like, they have the over at minus 114, the under at minus 117. They're making the under more expensive, which means that they think it's more likely. The rest of the sportsbooks don't quite line up with the Pinnacle line, but they still have it priced around even money, right? Like, we see odds taking out Pinnacle range from minus 108 to plus 102. BetRivers is giving it to us at plus 114. This is still an outlier, not as big of an outlier as the Pinnacle line would suggest, still an outlier. So I still think this is a really good bet. DeAndre Ayton under 9.5 assists. And when you're looking at player props, there are three sports books that you want to look for make sure that you're getting an outlier to these 3 books. 2 of them you want to give the heaviest weight to, and those are Pinnacle, which I already mentioned, and BetOnline. BetOnline has this at -104. The third book that you want to look out for, and if you're getting an outlier to these 3, that's icing on the cake. The first 2 I mentioned are the most important, but that would be DraftKings as the third book. DraftKings is surprisingly sharp with player props specifically. Now, they're not given the heaviest weight. They're not considered the sharpest, but they are considered sharp for an onshore sports book. They have it at at +100. Again, BetRivers at +114. This is a clear outlier to the rest of the sports books. And also, one thing I do want to highlight, looks like there are more plays popped up, but both bets that we placed are plus money. And I get a lot of questions about why would you place a plus money bet if it's unlikely to hit, right? Like the profitability, or excuse me, a bet being plus money means that it's less than 50% chance of hitting, which is correct. But it also means you don't have to hit 50% of the time in order to be profitable. So if you place 10 plus money bets, you might only need to win 4 of those bets in order to be profitable. Whereas if you placed 10 bets at -110, you could win 6 and barely be profiting. So I don't ignore or avoid bets that are for plus money because it's more valuable if you can get one to hit. So the first 2 I mentioned are both plus money. I still think they're really good. I also would take one that's minus money, like this Michael Porter Jr. -117. Let's lock in this one. Michael Porter Jr. over 21.5 points, rebounds, assists, -117 odds. So the OddsJam perfect line prices this at -120, and look across the board where every other sportsbook prices this. Pinnacle -137, BetOnline -133, DraftKings even higher at -145. The only book that's kind of close is BetMGM, which is 8 cents higher. And then in this case, you can ignore Underdog. Again, you can ignore Prize Picks because they're DFS companies. So this -117 is clearly an outlier to the rest of the sports books. And just because it's minus money or just because these are plus money, I don't avoid them. All you want to look at are the odds of your bet compared to the rest of the betting markets. So I'll bet from +200 down to -200 as long as as it's an outlier compared to the rest of the sports books. That's the most important thing, is comparing your bet to the rest of the market. So that's 3 player props that I got for you guys. The next one that I want to lock in here is Desmond Bane under 18.5 points. Desmond Bane, incredible player, just came back from injury. We're getting him at +100 at BetRivers. This is obviously in the Grizzlies versus Warriors game. The OddsJam perfect line prices this to be at -102. And then again, look at the rest of the sports books. So we're getting it at +100. Remember, we see odds range from -111, looks like up to -120. And another reason why I like this one, so +100 equals 50-50. You place a zillion gajillion +100 bets, you win exactly half and you broke even. If you win more than half, you are profiting. And we can tell by how the majority of sportsbooks price this bet that they actually think the under is more likely. And what I mean by that is they have the under priced higher. They make it more expensive. BetMGM has the under at -120, the over at -110. Same exact thing with DraftKings. The under at -120, the over at -110. And then look at the sharp ones. Pinnacle, -118 on the under versus -112 on the over, favoring the under. Same thing with BetOnline. The under priced at -118, the over priced at -110, favoring the under. So they think it's the most likely scenario is that this bet goes under, and we are getting it for +100 at BetRivers. And then BetRivers has the same odds as Barstool, TwinSpires, and Unibet, so you can bet this on any one of them. It's going to be the same exact odds. But this is another really good play. So that is my 4th player prop for you guys. In my 5th and final one, for the same logic, Pat Beverly over 6.5 points. We're getting this for even money at FanDuel. The OddsJam perfect line prices this at -102. And then look across the board at the sportsbooks that favor it going over. BetMGM and DraftKings have the same odds, over at -125, under at -105. BetOnline has the over at -118, the under at -110, favoring the over, as does Pinnacle. The over is at -126, the under is at -105. They're favoring this going over. And again, we're getting it for plus money, which means that That equates to a 50-50 win percentage. So they think it's more likely that it goes over, but we're only getting it at 50-50. So that is 5 NBA player props for you guys to lock in for Christmas. If you are tailing any and all of these, comment and let me know. I would love to hear it, but that's all I got. So I appreciate everybody watching, and have a good one.